must like it rough. You must like it rough. By the looks of things, you must like it rough. By the looks of things. You bring this on, can't blame no one but yourself. You were way off the mark. You were way off the mark. Your karmic payoff. There comes a day when you receive reciprocation for your actions, your agitation, for your karmic reciprocation is showing. You must know better. The way to fall on your sword, you win the award. Karmic payoff comes in all shapes and sizes. You play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. Do you like it rough? Baby, you must. Baby, you must like it rough. By the looks of things, you must like it rough. Baby, you must. By the looks of things. You must like it. You must like it rough. You must, by the looks of things. You must like it, you must like it, you must like it rough. You must. You're picking yourself up off the ground. You're thinking something's been lost. I think it never really was found. Life can get hectic. I've come to expect it. You can't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. 'Cause what doesn't kill you only better save yourself. You better save yourself from slipping away. Pull yourself together, pull yourself together before you decay, before you decay. You must like it rough, baby, you must. You must like it rough, by the looks of things. You must. Life can get hectic, I expected. baby, do you like it rough? Baby, oh baby, baby, do you like it rough? Baby, do you like it rough? Baby, do you like it rough? You must like it rough by the looks of things. You must like it rough by the looks of things. You bring this on, you can't blame no one but yourself. Can't blame no one else. There comes a day when you receive reciprocation. You way off the mark. You're gonna pay off. You're gonna pay off. You were way off the mark. You're gonna pay off. There comes a day. There comes a day when you receive reciprocation for your actions, for your actions, your agitation, for your karmic reciprocation is showing. You must know better. The way to fall on your sword. You win the award. Karmic payoff comes in all shapes and sizes. Yeah, you play stupid games. You're gonna win stupid prizes. Yeah, you play stupid games. You're gonna win stupid prizes. Baby, do you like it rough? Baby, do you like it rough? Baby, you must. Yeah, you must like it rough. You must like it rough by the looks of things. You bring this on yourself. Can't blame no one else. You were way off the mark. Your karmic payoff. There comes a day when you receive reciprocation for your actions, your agitation, for your karmic reciprocation, your agitation, for your karmic reciprocation, your karmic reciprocation is showing. It's showing. You must know better, baby. You must. But way to fall on your sword. You must know better, baby. But way to fall on your sword. You win the award. You get what you give. You get what you pay for. You get what you give. In the end, you're gonna get what you've given. Are you giving in? Are you gonna give in? Are you gonna give in? Are you giving? Are you giving to do what's been given you? Forgiven. Have you forgiven who? Never could be given you what you pay for. Are you giving what you're getting? Are you getting what you giving? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? You are gonna get what you've been given. You've been given to be forgiven. has never given you what you had given? Have you forgiven who has never given you what you deserve? Are you gonna get to who got to you? There comes a day when you receive your reciprocation for all your actions, all your actions, your agitation is showing, your agitation is showing, you know what you've done. You know what you've done. It comes back to everyone. You must know better. You must know better. A way to fall on your sword. You and you ward. Karmic payoff comes in all shapes and sizes. Baby, you play stupid games. You're gonna win stupid prizes. Karma comes in all shapes and sizes. Karma's only a bitch if you're a bitch. Rags to riches to rags. Back to rags again. Rags to riches. Rags and back to rags again. Which one is more wicked? Is it the rag or is it the richest? The richest, the rigid richest rigged the game. The rigid richest rigged the richest game. Everyone else came after them. They rigged the game, told you you have to play for them. Once you transcended the system that you bended to fit your needs, indeed you were corrupted. Pulling all it in, pulling all the wool over their eyes, standing on lies and shaky ground at best. At worst, it's just a curse, and you will be reversed into your own pit of despair, where we'll find you there, asking why no one cares. That day is come and gone, my friend. They'd throw you a line, but we have half a mind to let it play out the way it's meant to play out. You had your day and you're on your way out, on your way out. You were way off the mark, you were way off the mark. Your karmic payoff. There comes a day when you receive a reciprocation for your actions. We can see your agitation for your karmic reciprocation. prizes. You get what you got coming to you. We're all in this together telepathically. We're all in this together telepathically. I can tell a pathological liar from a mile away these days. I can tell a pathological liar from a mile away these days. They're so defensive, reprehensible, obfuscation, distraction. They can't answer a simple question. Frustration, agitation for your karmic reciprocation. It's showing. It's showing. You must know better. The way to play dumb. You know better. We know this. The way to play dumb. You win the award. Karmic payoff comes in all shapes and sizes. When you're playing stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. You can't even win this stupid game. It's your game and you lost. That's your karmic payoff. You were way off the mark. On your way out, you cry. Why? Why does no one care? Your yes men have gone. They're nowhere to be found. They did not want to drown with you. Your yes men are gone. You have no men. All you have now is yourself. No one wants to be suffering from something that they never done. You're the one that can win this. You begin this, you will end this. You can't amend this until you say you're sorry. It's just so hard to do. You would rather spiral endlessly. Double down, back down, doubling down, all the way down into your grave. All the way down, singing the same song. All the way down, never once admit that you were wrong. It's so easy to do, but no one's even listening to you anymore. There comes a day when reciprocation comes for your actions, for your actions. here on the edge, looking at the valley below, where the ocean once flowed. Out here on the edge, I can see the other side, but the valley is wide. Out here on the edge, we dangle our legs off of the ledge. Out here on the edge. Out here on the edge, we better leave before the sun disappears. You better leave before the sun disappears, or you'll never find your way out of here. You'll never find your way out of here. Out here on the edge, no one in the world has a clue what happened to you. No one in the world has a clue what happened to you. Out here on the edge, you're alone with your thoughts, and that's when you get lost. You're alone with your thoughts. Out here on the edge, I've seen and heard a lot of things. I've seen people beg, I've heard people scream. I've seen people beg, I've heard people scream. Out here on the edge, out here on the edge, you could end it all. You could end it all. Out here on the edge, you could end it all. Out here on the edge, you could end it all. You could end it all. Out here on the edge. Out here on the edge, you could end it all with one fall, with one fall, with one fall, with one with one Doppler effect. Before they discovered the Doppler effect, things just went like, it just went flying by. It didn't make a noise. It was all, I didn't even make the Doppler effect at all. It was all, something just went by. And then we discovered the Doppler effect. Now it goes, it's so much better now that we've discovered it. And I thank Doppler. Thank Doppler. Well, rags to riches, to riches, to rags. 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 The quickest to brag is to pat on his back. The quickest to pat the back. The cat rich quick, he gets the benefit. No shit, that's what you get. I shit you not, that's what you got. It's a cheap shot. It's a cheap shot. With nothing but ever the full spectrum. Positively pure potential gets neglected and rejected while cobwebs collected. I get affected with nothing but half of the full spectrum. Positively pure potential gets neglected and rejected while cobwebs collected. I get affected, but I still will fly up in your face. I still will fly up in your face. I'm high, how are you? Hung up, found to be visibly, physically, visibly, physically, visibly, physically, bone dry, visibly, physically, visibly, physically, visibly, physically, bone dry. Oh yeah. Your fixations are evasive. In the end, they just get lost in a stream of like-minded bad ideas that just run off the solid matter of fact. Your fixations are evasive. In the end, they just get lost in a stream of like-minded bad ideas that just run off this solid matter of fact. Like that. Down into the big drink where all water does sink down to its own level. Down into the big drink where all water does sink right down to its own level. Yeah. Way below the notion of my musical emotion. Yes, it's way above the notion. Way below the ocean. Way below the ocean. It's way below my notion and my musical emotion that can sit there in the air above this ocean of despair, where collective cynicism and negative organisms are swimming in them. Negative organisms swimming in them. Swimming in them. Swimming in them. The ocean of despair down there. Red tide ripping them. Riptide. Red tide ripping them up and spitting them out. Spare me. Spare me from your ocean of despair. Spare me from the glare. I'm aware you're down there, just ambivalent, but living it blatantly benign. Denied, defunct, punked. Oh well, floating is better than being sunk. Yeah. Floating is better than being sunk. Hey, floating is better than being sunk. 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 Demoted. Demoted. Straight moted. Now the most I've ever gloated is just nothing in compared to the amount of criticism I get hit with and heckled by devil-driven dimwits. I get heckled by devil-driven dimwits. Nothing in compared to the share of criticism I get hit with and heckled by devil-driven dimwits. Devil-driven dimwits. I get hit with and heckled by devil-driven dimwits. The most I've ever gloated is just nothing in comparison to the share of criticism I get hit with and heckled by devil-driven dimwits. Devil-driven dimwits. It's nothing in comparison to the share of criticism I've been hit with and heckled by devil-driven dimwits. Devil-driven dimwits. Which one is more wicked? Is it the rag or is it the riches? The rags and riches, which is it gonna be? Rags or riches, riches, rags, which one is more wicked? Is it the rag or is it the riches? Oh, which is it gonna be? There's a big wig where the wicked sit in the cockpit of the ship. The ship, they steer the ship, they steer the ship. The shit they get away with is despicable. You know, oh, it's indefensible. Rags to riches, to rags. The quickest to brag gets a pat on his back. The quickest to pat the back. Which quick he gets the benefit. No shit, that's what you get. I shit you not, that's what you got. It's a cheap shot. Rags to riches, to riches, to rags. Rags to riches, to riches, to rags. Down into the big drink where all the water does sink down to its own level. Down into the big drink where all water does sink down to its own level. Way below the notion of my musical emotion that can sit there in the air above your ocean of despair, where collective cynicism, negative organisms are swimming in the red tide, ripping them up, spitting them out. Riptide, ripping them up and spitting them out, ripping them up and spitting them out, spitting them up and ripping them out. Oh, spare me from the glare. I'm aware you're down there. You're just ambivalent, but living it. You're blatantly benign, denied, defunct, punked. Oh, well, floating is better than being sunk. Floating is better than being sunk. Oh! Floating is better than floating is better than floating is better than being sunk. Or is it? I said that floating is better than being sunk. You're still floating. you haven't sunk. You have not owned up yet, owned up yet. You must own up or you will go down, down below the big drink. Pulled down, down by your despair and your negative density. It's pulling you down into the big drink. You're so dense with negative energy dense. You need to be enlightened to make it out of there. And you first need to humble yourself. This is what becomes of someone who doesn't ever once try to take accountability. You are the one who's made your bed, so you must lay in it. You have to stay in it and play in it. You made your bed, now you must lay in it. And it's too bad your bed is in a big drink. It's hard to sleep in a soggy bed with soggy sheets, soggy pillows. You know you just can't go to sleep because you'll sink. You just must stay awake. Look at the lengths you'll go to avoid actually having to own up. Owning up isn't that hard to do, but some people just never will. They'll take it all the way to the grave. Never even will come clean, not once, nope. They just want to play that role. They think that is the goal, to never let go of your control. And look at now this fucking hole that you have found yourself in, pulling yourself down with your density. Your density has pulled you in, and you will sink into the big drink with all water does sink down into the big drink. Down there in the ocean. Down into the big drink where all water does sink down to its own level. Oh, baby, down into the big drink where all water does sink down to its own level. Ooh, down into the big drink. It's a big drink. Nobody knows how big it is. It's impossible to really know how far down it goes. It becomes too much pressure to sink any further below. This is as far down as we can go, and we still can't see the bottom. We don't know if there even is a bottom. It could go on forever. Nobody really knows where the bottom of this big drink is. I don't make waves, I ride them. Yeah, I get inside them and I just let them guide me in. I don't know where these waves begin, but I know where they will end. I just wanna ride them. I just get inside them and let them guide me in. I don't make waves, I ride them. I get inside them and let them guide me in. Listen, I don't know where these waves begin, but I know what they are going to end. I just want to ride them. I just get inside them and let them guide me in. Oh, it can take a toll on your soul when you got nowhere to go and there's nothing fun left to do. I know that only so far you can go before these waves gonna catch up with you. Out there on that horizon, I can see these waves coming in. Get inside the pipeline, it's a straight line. Every single time I get inside the pipeline, it's a straight line. Every single time. Oh, that I know there's only so far you can go before these waves are going to catch up with you. Out there on that horizon, I can see those waves coming in. Get inside the pipeline, it's a straight line every time. I don't make waves, I ride them. Get inside them, let them guide me in. I don't know where these waves begin, but I know where they will end. Oh, I just wanna ride them. I just get inside them and let them guide me in. I don't make waves, I ride them. Get inside them and let them guide me in. I don't know where these waves begin. I know where they will end. I just wanna ride them. I just get inside them and let them guide me in. I don't make waves, I ride them. Get inside them and let them guide me in. I don't know where these waves begin, but I know where they will end. I just want to ride them. I just get inside them and let them guide me in. I don't make them, I just take them. Make the best of what I found. I don't make them, I just ride them back to the shore. Out there on that horizon, it's a straight line every time. Get inside the pipeline, it's a straight line every time. I know there's only so far you can go before these waves gonna crash down on you. Look out for the undertow, you don't want to go below. your head above it, down into the big drink. That's where all of the water in the world is gonna sink. Don't make waves, I ride them. I get inside them and I just come out on top. Ride that wave right into the shore. And I'm just gonna do this forevermore. There's no shortage of waves. They just keep on rolling in. You don't really have to be brave. You just have to jump on in. Out on that horizon, you can see that swell. That swell rolling in. The swell is rolling in. It's just as well that we begin to unroll this raveling, unraveling roll of tangled lies that made our lives seem confusing. You need to unravel this tangled thread that just isn't what you have said. It's not what you have done. It's a deep fake. It's just getting faker all the time. They're gonna get things looking so real that you won't believe in reality anymore. You just have to go outside of your door and see the real thing more. You know that's all you got to do. Just don't look into the screen if you're trying to see something real. You never know, this whole thing could be a show, and it's just so immersed within our minds. We've all been swimming through this one for such a long time. It's such a long dream, and this thing is when we gonna wake up and find out we're just asleep inside another dream. And this dream is just all wrapped up inside of one big dream that is just being dreamt by God, who's being dreamt by another God. We all are God dreaming of this thing that's been dreamt up by us, and we don't have nowhere to point. It's just all the way we're in the middle of it. You can't escape, there's no edge to this reality. But something ends, something else begins. You will never see the end, 'cause there ain't no such thing. This is just a never-ending ending. It's always ending, it's never ending. It's a never-ending ending. I'm thirsty as hell.
The tortillas are huge, so I only ate one taco.
Oh yeah?
I made 4 of them.
I like big ones.
That was perfect, so it all fit in there.
Fish tacos, yes. That was a smoke first. I love you, baby. Thanks for making fish tacos. Fish and chip tacos.
Fish and chip tacos.
Papas and pescado.
Yeah.
Good shit. Little red rooster. Oh shoot. I wish I had seen that before I stopped. I got a little red rooster. Too lazy to crow for day. I got a little red rooster. Too lazy to crow for day. He keeps everything in the barnyard. Upset in every way. I got a little. I don't know any of the lyrics to that song. I just know that one part. Keeps everything in the barnyard. Upset in every way. Is there other lyrics? There's got to be more than just that. I got a little red rooster. I got a little red rooster. He's too lazy to crow for day. My friend has chickens and he's got a rooster, and the roosters are always a dick. But that's their job. They're the. I mean, what would you expect from a cock, anyways? Where'd my lighter go? But yeah, you got like 6 chickens. They have more eggs than they know what to do with. I just go up there and I get eggs for free. Sometimes I trade them some weed for it or something. Dude, you don't need that many chickens to eat. That's crazy. Angela Baby Carson probably knows about that. Or you don't eat meat, animal products. Or what do you eat? I forgot. I know that you're super healthy if you're still in there. But I forgot if you're a vegetarian or not. Angela Baby Carson is an animal lover. I would guess that you're a vegetarian since you love animals so much. And I do eat animals, but I love animals. And it's like I'm battling with that one a lot in my head. Like the older I get, the more I battle with it. Because I don't agree with it. I've been indoctrinated to become a meat eater. I was indoctrinated into that, and that's why I accept it. I don't accept it morally. I think it's wrong, and I still partake in it. So it's a cognitive dissonance that I face, and I imagine eventually I will overcome it by not eating meat anymore, or just not eating an animal that I couldn't go kill myself and devour, like a fish, which that's about as far as I've gotten on that note. Although I have been starving in the woods before, and I found that I will hunt animals when I'm starving. I was hunting wild grouse with sharpened spears that I had, and rocks. We didn't have all we had for a weapon was a fishing pole, and that's how we ended up surviving because there was tons of fish out there. We weren't really that scared that we were going to starve, but it was like because we knew there was plenty of fish to eat. But yeah, we were trying to hunt these wild grouse. I was ready to kill a chicken. Or wild grouse is like chicken, basically. I would have been eating chicken. And like I didn't give a fuck. I was having dreams about it. Right now, I could never kill a chicken. Right now, when I'm not starving and I'm desperate and I'm like, I'm not, existing in like a Lord of the Flies type, reality where I'm just like out there starving and looking for food. I'm not in that mode right now, and I would never be able to kill a chicken just to eat right now. There's no way in hell. I love animals too much, so yeah, I'm a hypocrite. That's the thing about being like. There's a lot of meat eaters that I bet if you really just cornered them, they'd become hypocritical, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to kill the animals that they're actually eating. I am. I'm one of those people. I'm willing to admit that, and I think it's it's little conversations like this that I have with myself where I'm inching closer towards just becoming, because like what kind of person are you if you can't just be true? Like I guess you could make the argument, well, like this is the food that they provide at the store and I got to stay healthy and eat, if it came down to it, like what would you can make that argument, but all the same, the only reason they're killing animals for you to go buy at the store is because you continue buying them and eating them. If you don't agree with it, then you should stop doing it. If everybody did that, they wouldn't kill the animals anymore. because there wouldn't be any market for it. Chances of that happening are so slim. So we should just all just continue being hypocrites. I'm just kidding. I think there's something kind of psychotic about about. It's like there's this guy called the vegan flat earther. He's like my biggest detractor that there is. He's the only guy that's ever made a hit piece about me, and he's just like made a bunch of false claims about me. Like, well, what? Actually, no, not all of them are false. He said that I'm just like I'm buddies with everybody, and like he finds that to be suspicious, or like that I'm being fake or something, because I'm just buddies with everybody. Even channels on YouTube that don't like each other, I'm friends with both channels, and he found that to be suspicious, and he made a hit piece about me because of it. But it's not that I'm just trying to do any like I'm not trying to meddle in people's I'm not trying to do anything shady or dishonest. It's just that I enjoy both channels, and the fact that they don't like each other is none of my business. And so that's how I leave it. And I don't try to get involved in too much drama. I'm a drama-free guy, and you know, I guess that was cause for concern, because I guess when you have a channel that you like and it hates another channel that you like, you're gonna have to choose a side, and if you don't, then you must be I don't know, what must you be. That's what he said in one of the hit pieces he made about me, the vegan flat earther. He goes and bees buddy with one person, then he goes and bees buddy with another person that doesn't like that other buddy that he was buddies with. It's funny. I kind of like that video that he made about me, actually. It's kind of funny. He goes and bees buddy. It's kind of cute. I can't be mad about it. But the reason I mentioned him is because he was someone that cornered me on the whole meat. Like he actually, he beat me in the argument. Like he was saying that I was psychotic. He's saying basically that meat eaters are psychotic, and I was like, I'm not psychotic, and I was going back and forth with him, explaining, how I'm not psychotic, but he finally got me cornered to where it's like, yeah, okay, you're right. I guess it is kind of psychotic to devour an animal. Yeah, that's true. You got me. You should have just made a hit piece about that. That's where he actually had me. The fact that I'm buddies with everybody, I mean, that just means that I'm a nice guy. I mean, that's not like worthy of a hit piece. This guy, he's nice. You look out for Doctor. He's all, what did he say? He's all, don't get too comfortable with Dr. Bass, or what he said. Don't cozy up to Dr. Bass. Don't tell him your personal information. All paranoid. Like, damn, I've never asked for anybody's personal information. Totally had me sized up all wrong. Don't cozy up with him. The big bad Dr. Bass. What a joke. Satanic comes to mind. Yeah, so you're not a meat eater either. So you're on the same page there, huh, Angela? Yeah, I figured, because I know you're an animal lover and you're a health freak, health nut, whatever you want to call it, a healthy person. How about that? But I don't think it's unhealthy to eat animals, but I think it's mentally unhealthy, maybe, in that sense, because it's like I mean, because everything I just finished saying. It's like a head fuck. We've been indoctrinated into thinking that evil things are okay. The good is bad and the bad is good. It's a Bas Ackward's world. I'm the one who's thinking straight forward, but everybody else is backwards, so I'm the backwards one, and they're forwards. It's all relative. The theory of relativity, or the equivalency principle. It's either this or that. Okay, that's the equivalency principle. The things are either falling down or down is falling up. It's the equivalency principle. It could be this, or it could be that. Well, there must be some way to figure out if it's one or the other, or not the other, and this one and not the other one. There's got to be some way to distinguish between these equivalency principles. There must be some way. Well, I suppose we could measure the acceleration of said thing that was appearing to fall, and then we would know that it most certainly is falling. because we could measure its acceleration towards the ground as it went down. So what we're going to need is we're going to need some kind of device, some kind of gadget that we're going to have to design that measures acceleration. All right, like a speedometer? Yeah, exactly. How does a speedometer work? Well, it's attached to the wheels in your car, and every time your wheel goes round, it makes a little, it's like it figures out how fast you're going because of how fast your wheels are turning. Oh, well, that's going to be difficult when things are falling. There's nothing really turning that would be measuring anything. Oh, how's that going to work? We can't make a speedometer, and that's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's not attached to anything. The speedometer is measuring speed based on its contact with the ground. So, how are we going to measure something falling? What is it that we're going to how are we going to gauge how fast it's accelerating? Like, what kind of device? How's that going to function? How's that going to work? Well, I guess we can know by judging by, like, when we move things, we can see the displacement occurring. Like, if we were to move something, we can see whatever that thing is being affected by the motion that's being acted on it. And we can deduce from that that it's being pushed a certain direction or whatever, because we can see how things organize after this force has been affecting it. Things tend to organize a certain way every time when there's a force acting on a certain reference frame. Like the vehicle is a perfect example, because a vehicle is something we're all quite familiar with. We step on the gas pedal, we've created a force within that vehicle, and it's pushing you forward. And while you're being pushed forward, your weight is pushing you into your seat. You're dense, and you're being pushed in the direction that the force is coming from. It's coming from behind you, pushing you forward. You're dense, you're being pushed against the direction that the force is coming from. It's coming from behind you, you're being pushed in that direction. Now, if you weren't dense, if you were buoyant instead, well, everything's just like a density gradient. If you were just the least dense thing in there, which would otherwise be buoyant, well, then you're going to be moving in the opposite direction, because that's how a density gradient works. When a force has been exerted on a reference frame, am I doing this right, Angela? Am I saying this all right? It happens like that every time. I mean, you can't escape that reality. That's physics. The more dense things are pushed in the direction that the force is coming from, and the buoyant things in that reference frame are going to move in the opposite direction. They're going to go with the direction of the force. They're going to be pushed in the same direction that the force is moving. And so we can see that in a vehicle. Like, if you have a helium balloon in your car, when you step on the gas, it's going to be pushed against the windshield. Believe it or not. A lot of people have a hard time believing that, but it's just because they never bothered looking into this. They'd be like, no, that's not what happens. Well, actually, yes, it is. Go look into it and then come back to me on that one. And then they come back and are like, okay, well, it does move forward, but it's not because of the thing that you said. What are you talking about? You just don't want to grapple with the possibility that perhaps the Earth is rising, because that's just so crazy. All you gotta do is take that example with the car. The car is moving forward. You're being pushed in the back. Helium balloons moving forward. Take the example of the car. Now turn that whole thing sideways to where the back of the car is the ground and the windshield is the sky. Okay? You're being pushed against the ground. The helium balloon is going up towards the sky, the windshield. There you go. It's the same thing. Except when you were in the car, there was a force acting on you and you were going somewhere. Now, when you're standing here on the ground, a helium balloon is going somewhere. What about you? Is there a force acting on you? Oh, gravity. Where's that gravity coming from? Coming from the earth. Mm-hmm. But we're supposed to think earth is a ball. So if earth is pushing up on you, creating this density gradient that we live in, pressure gradient, whatever, that can't work on a ball. Because if the earth is actually pushing up on you, and the earth is a ball, that means the earth would be expanding and would like blow up or something. It would fall apart. It wouldn't work. So since we know that earth is a ball, then the earth just cannot be pushing up on us, even though that's what the physics would indicate. So we solved that one. Well, how do we know earth is a ball? Oh, we just know. Duh, everybody knows that. Duh, you're not educated. How does everybody know that? Because we learned it in school. That's not a sufficient answer. How can you prove the earth is a ball? Oh, ships over the horizon. That's been debunked. Well, well, we know earth is a ball because the sun sets. It goes below the horizon. Where would it be going? It can't be going into the ocean. Oh, that's good. That's good. Unfortunately, that's been debunked too, though. What? Well, debunked to my standards. I mean, I went and I was watching the sunset and it looked like it's sinking below the horizon like it always does into the ocean, you know. But then I had this fancy camera that I bought, a Nikon P1000, and I zoomed in on the sun. And lo and behold, it wasn't actually sinking into the ocean or below the horizon, below the curve of the earth as we rotate away from it or whatever. No, it in my camera, it was back up in the sky. It widened the gap between the horizon and the sun. There was no longer appearing to sink into the ocean. Once I zoomed in on it, I could see the whole sun again. It was up in the sky. Now, I've been told that I'm not supposed to be able to do this. But I'm not the only one who's done this. There's videos of this all over the internet. It's amazing that people still argue like this is impossible to do or something. Fucking wild. It's really weird. Why haven't... Well, the reason that people haven't accepted that as being real yet is just because they want to believe in something. Sure, eventually you're not going to be able to zoom in on it anymore, but that could be true whether or not the Earth is a ball. The sun doesn't have to be bigger than the earth. It can be closer and smaller. We've all figured this out. All us flat earthers have all come to terms with that reality. The possibility that the earth is just how it appears to be. And things such as the sunset are more of an optical illusion where it looks like it's sinking below the horizon, but when you zoom in on it, you see that it wasn't doing that. So it's probably just getting further away. Now, as far as how the sun actually works and all the, the dual polar sky, whatever, the sky the sky really does seem to tell you, like, if you have all the data from the sky, you really can make a good argument for a globe earth. if you're just working with the sky observations, because it gets really in depth. I mean, we have the analemma and the ephemeral, which is the moon path, and the analemma is a figure eight. It's location dependent, but it's going to be different everywhere you stand on Earth. And it's a figure eight, and you're going to see the bigger loop. Like if you're in the north looking at the analemma, you're going to see the bigger loop in the south. If you're in the south looking at the analemma, you're going to see the bigger loop in the north. But it's a figure eight, which tells you that what happens in the north happens in the south. What happens in the south happens in the north. The figure eight, it crosses over right there at the equator. When you're at the equator, you see an infinity symbol. It's not a figure eight, it's even on both sides. Okay, and now we have sunspots observations. We have two poles, and we have a straight. At the equator, the sun moves in a straight line. The luminaries appear to pass over you in a straight path. And then we have the circumpolar sky, however you want to go about explaining all this. Most people know about all this shit. The thing is, the sunspots can be observed appearing to move around the entire sphere of the sun. They look like they're in motion around the sun. The sunspots can be tracked as they orbit the sun, or they're on the sun, but as they go around the sun. But are the sunspots actually in motion, and why would they be? Is that what's going on? Or is it us that's in motion around the sun, and the sunspots are just where they are? They're not moving. Well, you combine that with the analemma and like the circumpolar sky, and the counter rotation of the stars, and you start building a model, and you're starting to think, wow, the sky observations seem to be telling me something here, and could it be that we're the thing that's in motion here around the sun? Could that be what's happening? Well, in order to really prove that, you would have to either leave Earth and look back at it and see that it's a ball, or, and that's also assuming the fact that you could live on a flat and stationary appearing plane, or that's not rotating at least, and no motion can be detected as per the rotation, and no curvature can be measured by any meaningful degree. And so we have that to reckon with. And nobody is able to leave the earth and look back on it to see that it's a ball. So that's another thing to reckon with. The people that have had that ability, that claim to have done so, well, they lied, and their shit's fraudulent. So that's also a piece of the puzzle here. Because if you got to lie and present people with fraudulent evidence, then there's something wrong with your claim. Because you shouldn't have to lie about it, right? Like basically, if we couldn't see the sky, if the sky wasn't part of this equation, nobody would ever have come to that conclusion. It would have never occurred to somebody that perhaps the earth is a ball. Because we can't go to the sky and run the scientific method on the things that we see in the sky, it's strictly observation. Because of that, we really just have to settle on the conclusion that the sky is simply a fancy light show. Because we don't know the dynamics, we don't know what's making it work. We can come up with guesses and theories all day long. People have all kinds of ideas. But since we can't do the scientific method when it comes to testing what the sky is, we're stuck with having to make assumptions and just study patterns and, come up with models and stuff. But we can't really say for sure that what we're looking at isn't just a fancy light show. We can't make any empirical, like definitive claims about the sky because we can't go there and put our hands on it and run scientific experiments. It's strictly observational. And once the globers finally just admit that, I wish they would just say, okay, you're right, we can't really prove it. Our sky data seems to suggest that the Earth is a globe, but you're right, upside down people is ridiculous. And there's no such thing as there's no downward vector, there's no downward acceleration. It cannot be measured. That's how I got on this tangent. This tangent was about me trying to think of how you're going to measure acceleration while something's not attached to the ground. Because we can measure things like with a speedometer, we can measure how fast you're going because it's attached to the ground as it's rolling. That's how you're coming up with how fast you're going with the speedometer. But an accelerometer, well, like it's going to detect contact force. Like if something's pushing on it, it's always going to be accurate. It's going to tell you which direction the force is coming from. And so when it's falling, the accelerometer reads 0. It tells you that there is no force acting on it while it's falling. And so, really, I mean, is that what the fucking, is that all we have to do? I mean, like, how would you measure a downward acceleration? How would you do it? People will be like, well, it's just contact force it's measuring. Well, yeah, but it's measuring acceleration. Like if we're looking at something and it appears to be accelerating, but when we put the accelerometer on it and it doesn't have a reading, it shows 0, then basically all we have is an observation. We don't have a physical measurement. And that's just, we're stuck with that situation again, where it's like we're coming up with calculations and trying to call them measurements when it's not the case. A calculation isn't a measurement. We're looking at something fall at a certain rate and we're thinking, okay, that's a measurement of how fast it's falling. No, it's just a calculation, because it's not really a measurement. Because when we tried to measure how fast it was falling, we got a reading of 0. So the only other explanation left at that point is that the Earth is rising up to meet it, which is a very, very unpopular idea. But what's crazy are just what's crazy. What's crazy is that usually the most unpopular ideas are true. I mean, look at flat Earth for fuck's sake. It's like, you can wear the dunce cap. Your family can disown you because you're retarded. You can be demonetized. You can be told to go suck eggs and don't procreate. You can be laughed out of the room. But really, it's just our objective reality that people are having such a hard time with. I mean, it's like, flat Earth, you must be retarded. Prove it's flat. That's where this whole psyop got off the ground. It's like, we're going to have a flat Earth debate. Why in the fuck would you do that? That was a dumb idea. That's the psyop right there. We're going to debate our objective reality. No. The only thing that's up for debate right now is the model that's been handed to us about our reality. The model that's been proposed as being reality. That's what's up for debate. Our objective reality is just our objective reality. It's not up for debate. We're trying to figure out. I mean, are we trying to figure out, like, why do we need to figure? Our objective reality is that of a non-rotating plane. Planar Earth. That's what we all experience. It's what we all interact with the Earth as being. Whether above the Earth or on the Earth, there's no case where you're ever going to have to worry about any rotation or curvature. It's never going to be something you have to factor into your life at all. It's a moot point. It's irrelevant information. It's probably not even true. But the thing is, they say that they can measure this rotation by using the Foucault pendulum. Oh, dun, dun, dun. But the Foucault pendulum claims to be showing Earth's rotation because the Foucault pendulum appears, it's swinging back and forth, I guess that's what a pendulum is. But it appears to be processing, they call it processing, where it looks like it's moving. Well, what they say is that the Earth is actually moving underneath it. But what we seem to be witnessing is that this thing is moving, but apparently what they want you to think is that it's not the thing moving, it's the whole Earth underneath it that's moving. So what we're supposed to believe is that this pendulum somehow is able to separate from Earth's motion, alleged rotation, and then thereby showing us that rotation based on its holding its rigidity or whatever, its location while the Earth is moving underneath it. although it is attached to Earth, but because it's attached to a string, it's attached to the thing, it's attached to the Earth. But let's just give him that for. The thing is, if we could really detach from the motion of Earth and then illustrate that motion because of our ability to detach from it and then have it move beneath us, if that was something that could be achieved by way of Foucault pendulum or whatever, I mean, then that should be something that can be consistently done in any other instance. Where like basically like if you can separate from the Earth with a Foucault pendulum and show the Earth's rotation by using this invention, then we should also be able to separate from the Earth by hovering above it in a helicopter or a drone. And that's the same idea. We're separating from the Earth's motion, alleged rotation. So we're going to hover above the Earth and we're going to wait for it to move underneath us the same way it does with the Foucault pendulum. Uh-oh, it's not doing that. Why? The pendulum shows it doing it. How come the helicopter hovering above the Earth, we're not seeing the Earth move underneath it? How come that's not working? It should work, because if the Foucault pendulum can somehow be separated from the Earth's motion and then show that rotation by way of its being separated from it, then I mean, there's nothing really too fancy going on. It's just, it's not like any high-tech gadgets. It's just this pendulum swinging back and forth, but its orientation changes, and so we're led to believe it's because the Earth is moving underneath it. There's nothing too complicated about it. So, with that in mind, we should be able to just hover above the Earth and have it move underneath us, but we can't. That's not possible. It's never been done, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, anybody's seen a helicopter hover there above the ground. The Earth isn't moving underneath it. So to get hypnotized into believing this Foucault pendulum is actually showing the Earth's rotation, it's like you kind of just have to forget about all this other stuff that we already intuitively know. Like you can't hover above the Earth and have it move under and see it move underneath you. No, that's silly to think about it. You're like, I'm going to hover in my helicopter and just wait for the place I want to go to come down to circle underneath me. And I mean, if it was that easy to separate from Earth's motion, I mean, see, so they have these things. It's like a parlor trick, and this one goes deep too. The Foucault pendulum, like it's latitude dependent. Like wherever you can find your location on Earth, your latitude, by way of using the Foucault pendulum, because it'll move in a certain, specifically to match whatever latitude. I mean, I don't know how that all works, but the thing is, they'll argue with that point, till the cows come home. They're just like, no, it's how else would it work? I mean, it's you can take it and try it on different latitudes, and it's going to show you that you're on a different latitude by the way it's moving, and it's just obviously the Earth is a globe and spinning. But it's like, no, because you can't separate from Earth's motion according to your model. They say that you can't. That's why you don't have to worry about it when you're landing a jet. They say that you can't because you're already moving with the Earth, as if like like when you jump on a train or something. You don't get pulled into the back of the train. It's like you're already moving as fast as a train. They're like, so when you lift off the Earth, you're still moving with the Earth, and they want you to believe. And it's same with the atmosphere. It's like glued to the Earth and it's moving along with it. Except there's times when all of a sudden you can separate from it. Like if you're kicking a field goal, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, all of a sudden now the Earth's moving, and you can like use that to your advantage, try to win the football game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just like going too far with this one. Maybe I'm just a crazy flat earther. But like I happen to know all these incidents where their fucking idea is at odds with itself. It's like you say that you can't separate from the Earth's motion, but then on these other instances you say that you're doing that, where you're kicking a field goal or your Foucault pendulum or your fucking gyro compass or whatever. It's like, look, it's separating from the Earth's motion and showing us the Earth is moving. Why is it that when you have these little toys or this football game, why is it something that like that you said before you can't do that? So why is it that you can now? I mean, is it really just dumb? I mean, are we just up against like some kind of shit where it's like it can be either or? I mean, you can't. That's not science. If you can like conflict with your previous statements and just like get away with it, that's called propaganda. That's called like fucking bonehead nonsense, really. I mean, I don't think that there's something I'm missing. Like, I think that's what the Foucault pendulum actually is trying to claim, that it's separated from the motion of Earth, and thereby it's showing that rotation. But you can't do that. You should be able to do that in any other instance then. It's not, it's just, it's lacking consistent logic. I mean, it doesn't check out. But I've gotten in arguments with people just to the point where they're calling me retarded, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I guess maybe I'm just retarded. They want to wear you down to where you're like your your intuitive logic is just like all, you know, it's got this like all it's all like broken. The thing is, I mean, the lies are just going to eventually crumble and wash away. The lies have to have liars upholding them. And so that's the whole mission of the flat earth movement, is like we need to get enough people pushing for truth, because at a certain point there won't be enough people left to uphold this globe lie. There'll be enough people who are at least questioning it. There won't be anyone left to push the propaganda anymore, and it'll just fall to the wayside. Be like, oh, that was neat. Yeah, I used to think the Earth was a ball because of all these crazy, like, really astute observations they made of the sky, and it's pretty intense. And it actually was pretty neat because, I mean, it kind of checked out. But the thing is, the Earth didn't measure to be a ball that was rotating, so they always tried to avoid that one. But eventually, it caught up to them and bit them in the ass. They even tried to fake space. It was a big embarrassment. Pretty much the biggest embarrassments of mankind were the moon landing and the ISS. Those are the two biggest embarrassments. They used to be considered the greatest achievements. But now it's just the two biggest embarrassments. That's sad but true. Sad but true. And you know, with the ISS, it's like they're still continuing with this hoax. Like, they still want you to believe in it. They're still doing these fucking videos where they're like, look, they're like throwing their microphone, it's like floating. Look. And that's the extent of their science. They're like, look, we can throw a microphone, it floats. I can do a somersault science. Like, they have yet to even present to us any kind of, like, anything with any sort of, it's all just fucking empty fluff talk. They don't ever provide any kind of, like, insight to what they're doing up there. Like, there's the science that they talk about all the time. They never show you anything that's, like, worth the billions of dollars that they supposedly are spending on this project, where it's like, you would have had to have shown us some kind of breakthrough that you're making by way of having this floating lab in the sky. But so far, all we've seen is floating microphones. They show us how to use a little space toilet, and, but like, we've already debunked their whole thing. I mean, there's videos where you can see the green screen, or like there's glitches where you can actually see the green screen. I mean, the hoax has been blown wide open, but it still continues. I mean, this is the kind of hoax that's got like, the beast system is upholding it, because in a real world where there wasn't the beast system upholding hoaxes, like, once the green screen has been spotted on the video, it's like it's been seen. It's like, we've caught them. They're faking this. That would be the end of it. It would be done. It would be over. There wouldn't be any more from that party that was trying to trick us with their green screen trickery. But now, in this day and age, because people want to believe that space so bad, they want it so badly, with, multiplanetary species, and it's like advancement in technology. We're gonna go to Mars. They want it so badly that when they see people faking space, blatantly faking it, where it's like, that would work in a court of law. If we could have like an unbiased court of law, if that such a thing existed, we could bring that evidence in as proof, as far as I'm concerned. Look, they're faking this thing. It's like, how much money have we spent on this thing that's now been proven to be fake? That would be the end of it. But now people are so heavily, thoroughly indoctrinated. Everybody's all invested in this huge lie. So as the hoax just continues on, but there's a larger and larger amount of people that have noticed at this point, and it becomes pretty laughable. I mean, the Chinese space station, they had like a glass of water that they were putting a ping pong ball into, and look, it doesn't float like it normally does. It's like, your glass of water, it's not supposed to work like that in a low G environment. That water should have left the glass. I mean, they just pull the most bonehead mistakes. It's it really is funny, but it's not funny because I mean, kids are believing this. Innocent minds are like seeing this, and but it's a whatever. It's like a litmus test. I mean, I just don't know how they could continue after making such terrible mistakes. Like that they've made so many of. The guy in the harness in the background. I was When I saw that for the first time, I was like, oh man, no way. Whoa. And I had this weird kind of dark, creepy feeling. I'm like, they're really faking this? This is wild. Ugh. It gave me kind of a gross feeling. I'm like, ugh, these people are weird. I mean, because that's like, it's like I mean, it's supposed to be our big achievement, the ISS. Mm. Yeah, the spin. I like explaining Earth as a flat, non-rotating Earth, because that's like when it comes down to like just we're getting down to the brass tacks. Where like people's lives are at stake. We're designing crafts that are to be used above the Earth and to be landed back down on the Earth. We need to like get down to brass tacks and just what exactly is this craft to be done with? What are we going to use it for? It's for use over a flat, non-rotating Earth. That's the information you need to know when you're designing this aircraft. Okay, there it is. If it were a curving, rotating Earth, well, then you would need to know that. But no, you don't. Because it's not, apparently, according to NASA. And then the Globers will come back at you and be like, no, that's just because like they put a bunch of lies in that whole thing. And they just said things that weren't true. Like the plane always has its same rigidity or weight or whatever. But that's not true because it'll run out of gas, so it weighs different. And they bring up these weird like red herrings. And it's like, no, sorry, but they explained the Earth as being flat, non-rotating. Like, and because that's how you do fly a plane, then it wasn't a lie. But no, because Earth is curving and around. As you can only say it so many times without providing the measurements of that. You can't detect that rotation. It's a non-detectable thing. The Foucault pendulum, I debunked that earlier. And the fucking what is it? The gyro compass functions on the same premise that it's like, I think, isn't that how the gyro compass works? It's kind of the same premise as like, it'll tell you where you're, which latitude you're at, because I don't really know. I shouldn't be saying that I really understand, because I don't quite understand how those things work. And I don't think they do either. I think what they're detecting is some other kind of motion. The kind of motion that you can't separate from, like when you're just hovering above the ground. Like you have to factor in all the data that you have before you come to your conclusion. Like, look, we separated from the Earth, and now we have this data that shows that how much the Earth moved while we were separated from it. Okay, well, hang on to that data, because now look, over here in this instance where we separated from Earth, we're not getting that same data. We're not getting any data of any motion at all. We're just stationary. Oh, there's no rotation here, but there is over here. Okay, there's something different about these two things then. What? This must be measuring something else. Because if it was measuring the Earth moving, spinning, or whatever, rotating, then over here, when you separate it from Earth, you should see that same result. But you didn't. So this thing must be measuring something other than the Earth rotating. I think that's what this scientific mind would take out of that situation. But no, no, Earth's rotating. That's what the scientific, the consensus is. Oh, well, the Foucault pendulum proved it. I mean, why else would it work like when different latitudes are? I mean, why? That's the only reason it would work is because the Earth's spinning. And they just, whenever you try to tell them, well, what about the helicopter hovering above the Earth? Oh, just shut up. You're moving this. That's when you start getting the answer like, oh, you're just moving the same speed as the Earth. So, anyway, you're not really separated from the motion. But what about the Foucault? How did that separate? Well, because refraction, gravity. I think refraction and gravity are pretty much the necessary, um, the necessary antecedent for a globe model. You need refraction and gravity to explain away all the obvious holes in the whole thing. Like refraction is something that occurs when the conditions aren't optimal. Like when you're looking out at long distance. Like refraction is something that occurs when there's less than optimal conditions outside for viewing, for viewing long distance. So refraction is something that's going to happen when there's you know, like there's temperature differential between the. Usually, you want to look at long distances over the ocean because it's flat, and then you can see the furthest when you have a flat plane you're looking over or whatever, flat water. And so the water is usually cold, and then you have different temperatures over, the atmosphere where the sky meets the water, where the atmosphere meets the water. There's going to be, like a temperature inversion or whatever. It's going to be cold and warm. There's going to be different temperatures you have wherever you're viewing, and that's a variable that's constantly changing. But that creates for like different visibility levels, and then you have the atmosphere. Just the fact that it's not completely like transparent. It's like translucent. And so after a while, it starts getting kind of like you won't see as far because of the atmosphere that's kind of blocking your view. And then you have this thing called refraction that can occur when you're viewing something through two different mediums. Like if you have a pencil and a glass of water, and you can look at it and it looks like it's split in half and it's all fucked up. You can tell there's something happening there. There's an optical effect that's happening, and it's because you're looking through two different mediums. Now, the atmosphere isn't two different mediums, but I guess you could say that where it's the most dense towards the water and then it's less dense. I mean, maybe you could say that that's two different densities of the medium, but regardless, what it boils down to is they want us to think we're seeing too far because the conditions are bad. You have less than optimal conditions, and so now you're going to see too far. That's the problem with the globe, man. You always end up having to defend some fucking Bas Ackward's argument that doesn't make any sense. That's the problem. That's why I would never go back to the globe, because you got to eat so much shit. And I do think that the globe I think, like Jeranism shows that since he's gone back to the globe, he's made some good points, but he's not proving what he thinks he's proving. He's just repeating the same shit we've all heard our whole lives. Sorry. With Jaron, what's weird about it is that he knows. Like, I think Jaron's a psyop. If he's not, then I think he is, but I suppose it's possible he could have been an unwitting psyop. Maybe. But Jaron's like the poster child for why you shouldn't be a flat earther. Interesting. He's in two movies that are like hit pieces. Well, the TFE isn't a movie yet, but it's supposed to be soon. but like the thing is, Jeranism was a channel that like brought our attention to the fact that there was no video evidence of a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And then he started showing us the video evidence that was available, you know, at the bases that are down there, like this, you know, Scott Amundsen base or whatever. It looks like they're deceptive. They look like they're 24-hour sun videos. You know, you think when you think you found it, okay, oh, here's all the 24-hour sun videos in Antarctica, a whole season's worth, you know. But then if you, Jeranism was the one that showed us you have to look really close and then notice that there's 6 to 8 hours missing out of every single day. And then he contacted the base with emails. He walked us through the whole thing. He showed us, okay, the base emailed me back. And it's like they said they had their software for their cameras or whatever is automatically edits out the dark hours. So that's why there's missing 6 to 8 hours of every day when there's supposed to be a 24-hour sun. So he emailed this person back. He's like, how come you have dark hours and it's a place there's supposed to be 24 hours of sun? And then they emailed him back saying, oh, well, you're going to have to take that up with so-and-so, some other, you know, government thing. And it's like, what? So, like, you watch all that and you're like, oh, wow, he just discovered that he just busted them. There's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Look, he just busted him, you know, and he starts talking like, oh, yeah, I just busted him. Like, there's no 24-hour sun down there, turns out, you know. It's, no wonder the Earth is flat. You know, the Earth is flat because there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Oh, everybody, look, there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Look, the Earth is flat. And you just kind of lump those two things together like those are just like, those are things that we know. And like, dude, I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not really. And then 10 years go by, and then here comes Duffy. Oh, no, there's a 24-hour sun down there. And Jaren's like, oh, I don't think so, you know. And look at all these videos where they cut out the hours and da-da-da-da-da. And Duffy's like, oh, no, I know. We can go down there. I'll pay for everyone to go down there. We'll go see it, you know. Oh, okay, I guess I'll go. If Witsit comes with me. And so they go and they see it because it's there, because the analemma shows us there's a 24-hour sun there. If there's a 24-hour sun in the north, and there's one in the south, because the analemma is a figure 8. One loop in the south, one loop in the north. The bigger loop is always going to be in the opposite region as you. Like if you're in the north, you're going to see the bigger loop in the south on the analemma. The you know, the yearly, the path of the sun for the course of the year is an analemma. And so it's a figure 8. It's showing you right there that what happens in the north happens in the south, and vice versa. So there has to be a 24-hour sun down there. That whole idea that there isn't one is a psyop created by Jeranism, and then he fucking, maybe he didn't realize it or something. And I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it's just interesting. Because then, you know, it's kind of like this trick. It's like, oh, look, we went down there and we proved there is a 24-hour sun. Oh, wow. So the Earth isn't flat. Wait, what? Who was the one that connected the 24-hour sun to the Earth being flat? You know, like, what? I mean, how come that? It seems kind of like a non sequitur or something. Or like, what do you mean the Earth isn't flat because there's another 24-hour sun or whatever? Because there's one in the south. Oh, because it can't work on a flat Earth. And the sun goes the other direction. The sunspots are upside down, and it's just it all makes perfect sense if the Earth is a sphere. Yeah, but remember earlier I went over all that. It's like the sky is just a fancy light show. That's all it can really be. Until you can go run scientific experiments using the scientific method on what we see in the sky, it's just a fancy light show. And the ground isn't a fancy light show. The ground is terra firma. We know exactly what's going on down here. And it's planar, non-rotating planar Earth. That's fact, right? So you can't take an observation of the sky and then just say that debunks our planar, non-rotating. It doesn't, because it doesn't really have anything to do with it. I mean, it does. There is some relation. I know. I get it. I understand the argument. It's not that it's lost on me. And it did cause me a little bit of cognitive dissonance at first, because I used to watch Jeranism. I thought he was a flat earther, you know. And but I just have come to terms with it. And I've managed to understand it in my own way, where it's like, oh, the analemma shows us that. And then I've also monitored the sun just from my one little spot on Earth. Like I know that this time of year, the sun rises over here in the southeast, and then it arcs that way, arcs south. I mean, and then it sets in the southwest. Whereas during the summer, it rises over here in the east, and then it arcs, and then it sets over here in the west, you know. But it's like, it's basically arcing the other direction now, and I can see it. It's not even up in the sky for that long, but I can see it rise in the southwest, east, and set in the southwest. So I can prove whatever Jaron was saying just from my one little location here. I've been able to see. Oh, you're right. The sun does go in the other direction over there, or not the other direction, but it's arcing the other way, and it's in the south. And, it's doing that in the south. So basically, it's making its circle in the south or whatever. I mean, whatever it's doing it in the south, but we still get some of it here because the Earth isn't a ball. If it was a ball, I don't think we wouldn't be seeing the physical sun. It'd be behind the curve of the Earth. I'm sure they want to claim they have that all modeled out or whatever, but I don't know. When you get stuck on talking about the sky, you're not talking about the Earth anymore. Yeah, right. Dave's app is totally a fucking. That's a psyop too, whether he knows it or not. I mean, he's got to know that it's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows that they're fucking. I mean, I'm sure people have put it to him, like, dude, you know that the sun doesn't circle at the equator like that. It's going in a straight line. So it's like your thing is at odds with what we all know to be reality. Like we can't just say that it's doing this. Like you're turning something into a circle that isn't a circle. Like I mean, I still have a hard time trying to understand that, but like I said, it's the sky we're talking about. But he's trying to like incorporate the sky into his clock thing, and he has this thing circling around. It's like, well, dude, that's not accurate, man. But he'll argue that it is. Yeah, I can verify it from right here in California. I can see the sun arcing the other way from here. I was just explaining that. So it's like you don't even need to go down there to see that. But yeah, Punta Arenas, you have 17 and a half hours of visible sun in the sky at this time of year. So, I mean, explain that with your circling sun thing. And, I mean, it's like, that's not going to fucking work, dude. It's not going to work. And that's evidence. I mean, that's data that anybody could go get their hands on. It's like, I've talked to flat earthers that live down there. So, yeah, Dave's app, it's fucking bogus. Totally bogus. I thought it was cool. I mean, it would be cool if he could just explain that to people. But that's the thing. If you explain that to people, it's not gonna seem cool. It's like, oh, so it's not really how it works. Okay, well, I don't want it then. Right? Some talk, yeah, it's just people. That's just like real world. It's just a collection of all the data, right? I mean, so basically, we have to come to the conclusion that Earth is planar, non-rotating, and it's two. We have a bipolar or a dual pole sky, whatever it was, 2 24-hour suns, whatever, straight line at the equator. So we have to factor that in. It's like, I mean, I don't know why people say that can't work. I mean, because that's what we're experiencing, isn't it? I know I've heard Geo talk about it over on Earth Awakenings. I mean, he kind of bugs me sometimes, but he does say some good stuff sometimes too. So I don't think he's like a psyop or anything. But some people think he is. But he was with Jaronism when he did that fucking interesting observation. So he's been around a minute. That Geo guy. I'd like to talk with Geo though sometime because he's actually proactive about trying to make a flat Earth model with two poles. Like I guess Joe Hanvey did the same thing, but or did he? Yeah, I think he did. Joe Hanvey did, isn't he? The guy that did that. Jake the asshole. Yeah, I remember when he did that. Yeah, I was there for all that. Like I remember Jaronism and Jake butting heads a few times. Like I got in the middle of it one time, and Jaron banned me from his channel and shit. He was all worked up about it. But that was just when he was yelling at when Jake exposed the Baby Truther show as being fucking garbage. That video is good. I watched that again recently just because it came up in my feed. I'm like, oh, I remember that. Because that was a good one. He really gave it to him, man. I think it was just like if you want to see a good one, look up Jake the asshole. Something about Baby Truther show. It's like his video that he made about their really terrible episode they had where they. It's like I don't need to ruin it for you. Just go watch the video. But because he really stuck it to him on that one, and they were fucking embarrassed. And because people like me and RT and a few other people that were like they were moderators on Globebusters and Jaren's, we were over there leaving comments saying, "Yeah, man, you're right. That was awful." And they went and saw that, and they got furious, and they made a big scene about it on Globebusters one Sunday or whatever. Like, Dr. Bass, you're banned, and all this shit. He was all mad, Jarenism. But then after this whole debacle with fucking Jarenism leaving the flat Earth, like, I went over to Globebusters. I'm like, hey, since Jarenism was the guy that took my wrench away, you guys mind giving my wrench back? But now Globebusters is just fucking Shane and it was Cammy that gave my wrench back, but she's not even hardly there anymore. It's just what's his name, Shane and fuck, I forget his name. Shane and Alan and Stone. That Stone dude. I like those guys, all right. I mean, but I'm over that whole celestial theodolite thing. That shit's just bugs, dude. I wish they would stop with that shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, I believe you do. I didn't say I don't believe. I said we do. Somebody else I was talking about that wanted to say there wasn't a 20. There are still flat earthers that will say there's no 24-hour sun down there. And I kind of feel like that's a psyop. It kind of seems like it was a Jeranism-based psyop. Because he was the one that like was basically acting like he debunked the 24-hour sun in Antarctica or exposed it as being something that's not real. And that's why I think it's interesting that he's the guy that goes and proves it's real. It's like he just led his followers on a 10-year psyop, whether he meant to or not. Is beside the point, really. Like, that's when I finally realized that there was a 24-hour sun down there when he went down there and showed it to himself that there is. And people think that was fake, but I don't think it was fake. I mean, for all I know, it could have been, but I'm just saying I don't think the 24-hour sun in Antarctica is fake. I've come to terms with that now. Like, for a while, I was one of those people that was, because Jeranism, made a pretty good presentation. I thought, oh wow, there's no. I totally fell for it, dude. I'm not too proud to admit that, but no, I don't go around saying that there's no 24-hour sun down there anymore. No, that's something for like Justin Johnson to do, and then come bust my balls for saying the Earth is rising. Are you serious, Sean? I didn't think there was that many that still do. But yeah, kind of like the whole clique of like the Iron Realm or Iron Work or whatever, and then and Saab. I don't know if Saab, he doesn't really talk about that too much, but I think he would. All those guys that like Kerry Skates and fucking Justin Johnson and those guys that get all kind of mouthy, get all kind of like tribal about it. Those guys will probably like get mad if you start talking about a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Like I got like fucking totally, like fucking, I got totally burned one day by those guys. They were all talking trash about me because I was just saying something about, I was making some argument like around how there probably is a 24-hour sun down there, and they just didn't want to hear it. And they're like, oh, we're like cleaning house. They didn't kick me out or take my wrench or anything, but I mean, they were acting like they were like fucking gonna. But like, dude, that's so stupid. I mean, basically, they're falling for Jeranism's psyop, is how I look at it, without even realizing it, because they hate Jeranism. But yeah, that's the reason they think there's no 24-hour sun down there is because of what Jeranism's fucking psyop did to him. I guess I don't know the biblical. Oh, Dave's flat Earth app too. But it's funny because they're falling for this psyop that's being, that's being pushed by Dave and fucking Jeranism. These guys that they hate. They don't hate Dave as much, but like still, it's like they talk so much shit about those guys, but they're like the victims of their psyop, thinking that there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I mean, I know because I used to be one of them. I used to think there wasn't for a little while. But yeah, the sun calc data, you're right though. That also kind of makes it pretty obvious. Who mentioned me? Or not me, maybe somebody else. Oh yeah, Justin, yeah, he yelled at me. Not recently though, it was a while ago. And he apologized for it since. Hi baby. He yelled at me. Well, he just assaulted me verbally in a comment section one day because I don't know where it came from, but he was talking about the rising Earth, and he was talking trash. I don't know what he said to me, but or maybe I was talking about it with somebody else in the chat, and then he got all pipey, and I wasn't even talking to him about it. He's like, "We're not going to tolerate you much longer," or something. I'm like, "Whoa, tolerate me talking about stuff? Like, what the fuck? What do you mean? How could you say something like that to somebody as cool as me?" I love you, baby. I'm gonna end my show. Oh, he mentioned me? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I try to pop in whenever he's live. I like Ironworks. I mean, he's one of these tribal guys too, kind of, but he's not an asshole. Like I think he's but I think he might be more willing to hear the 24-hour sun in Antarctica than some of the people that watch the show. To me, I think the analemma is the best way to explain why I think there's a 24-hour sun down there. Like I think it's pretty much irrefutable because if this analemma is showing us a figure 8, it's showing us a loop in each the north and the south. It's doing the same thing in both areas. So it's kind of like once you understand what the analemma is showing you, then you just have to kind of deal with it. It's kind of like once you realize how you get a pressure gradient or a density gradient by adding a force to a reference frame. Once you realize how that works, you just kind of have to either accept it or don't. Whatever. You get two choices. I'm like, oh man, now I don't have an argument for the rising Earth. Now I can't say the things that I used to say because now I understand it. Ah, fuck. Now I can't say all those things that I thought were like funny debunks. I can't do it because now I understand it. Ah, darn it. I still think it's crazy. It doesn't mean I have to like not think it's crazy. But I also like it because it's like because it's just like a truer way of explaining what gravity is doing or what the idea of gravity is. Gravity isn't like treating things like us and dense things as like a magnet. We're not like being pulled to the surface, the outside of the surface of this ball. It's not like we're like, that's silly. That's really silly to think that's what's going on. No, that's not what's going on. That's been sufficiently debunked by the rising Earth. And the rising Earth is something you can't really argue against in the sense that like how are you going to prove it's because it comes down to it. It's like how are you going to prove that what we're looking at falling to the ground is actually accelerating towards the ground? How are you going to prove that? You're going to have to like measure that acceleration, not calculate or observe. You're going to have to actually measure it. Well, it can't be done. Our attempts at doing that have shown that it isn't accelerating. It's just at rest. Inertia, and like this is the thing. It's like it's called normal force. It's so normal because it's very normal. It's the thing that's always present, and it's just the same everywhere you go. It's normal, and And then we have gravity. Well, this is fictitious force. It's fictitious. It's like a force that's caused by something else. So it's like I think that's what they mean by fictitious force. It's like it's force that's the result of something else that's happening. But like whatever you want to say, fictitious to me means not real. And normal, well, that's about as real as you're gonna get. So I tend to lean more towards normal force as being the force that's at play here, not the fictitious one that's fake. I don't know. What do you think? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, people just want to start asking, well, what's pushing it, or what's it moving through? Like, it's like, why? How about ask a bunch of questions that we could not possibly know the answers to? It's like we can sit and talk about and conjecture all day long, but like people don't understand that the argument is like, no, we're talking about everything, everything, like nothing spared, including the sky and everything. That's what's moving up, according to physics, according to very easy to understand demonstrations, which I used to think were just ridiculous. I'm like, you're going to show me a bottle and a bubble in a water bottle, a bottle and a water bubble, and I'm supposed to believe the whole Earth is flying up. But now I understand. I never thought I would be on that side of the conversation where I'm like, oh, now I get it. Fuck, dude. I'm like, once I had that realization, I'm like, oh man, darn it. Now I got to be on this side of the argument, on the true side. It's like, I mean, that's just so funny because now when I listen to flat earthers talk about their like electrostatics, being what's causing the vector, it's like, oh man, I cringe a little bit. I mean, I do understand where they're coming from, where it's like, well, when like your hair will stand up if you got like some kinetic energy or whatever, it's like it's defying what we think of as gravity because of the electricity going on. I get it. So it's like you're manipulating what you think is causing this vector, because it's defying the vector when you manipulate it. So you're like, okay, look, there we proved that's what's causing it. No, you just proved that you can manipulate that part of it. I mean, you're not proving that it's causing your imaginary downward vector. That's just been assumed because of what looks to be the obvious situation. Where it's like nobody would ever come to the conclusion that we're moving upwards. Maybe they would if they hadn't been indoctrinated into thinking they were living on the outside of a spinning ball. I don't know. I mean, it's not that difficult to understand once you just throw out, if you're just not worried about being embarrassed or something. Who cares? If you made it as far as flat Earth, you should not be worried about being embarrassed. And what's his name? Fucking Brian. Is it Brian Cox? The famous, infamous astrophysicist guy, whatever, smart guy. Brian Cox was quoted to have said, he's talking about flat earthers, and he's all the flat earthers that think the earth is rising up. I mean, I can't quote him word for word, but what he was saying is like, they believe the earth is rising up, and that's what's causing what we call gravity. He's all, they're bang on. That was his exact word. They're bang on. But the thing is, they're not following their thoughts all the way through or something. Because we know that Earth is a sphere, and so that couldn't be happening. It couldn't. And he starts talking like the equivalency principle or whatever. He's like, since we know that the Earth is a sphere, Earth can't be rising. And that's how he addressed that to his audience. He's like, those flat earthers that think the Earth is rising, they're right. But since we know the Earth is a ball, they're wrong. That's how he left it. I'm just like, oh, wow. He just handed me my argument. That's fantastic. What a great little clip. The perfect soundbite. Because here's what I say. Since I'm bang on, and since I know the earth is flat, then I'm just bang on. Because your little sphere idea is crazy. There's no upside down, people. There's no downward acceleration, and there's no curvature or detectable rotation whatsoever. So we're left with being bang on. We're just bang on. What happens to you? Just bang on. I don't know. I might be running out of rant rhythm. My rant rhythm has run out. But yeah, it is kind of frustrating when I hear flat earthers talking about the electrostatics being the cause of the downward vector that's not measurable. It's as though they want to. This is the thing. It's like once you're on the other side of the argument, you kind of feel like, well, it's like they're almost doing it to spite you or something. It's like because they really resent the upwards Earth, and it's like it's referred to as being the psyop, like the Flat Earth Society said that. Although I think Jeranism pointed out that the Flat Earth Society doesn't say that anymore. That they're no longer a proponent of the rising Earth theory or reality, whatever you want to call it. For me, I think it's just like it's just a. I mean, if it can be proven in demonstration, I don't know what else to say. I mean, if you can take an accelerometer and show that it's reading zero while it's appearing to fall, you have to at least accept that and be okay. Well, it's at rest, and now when it's on the ground, it's giving a reading of an upwards motion. I mean, you just have to accept that because that's what it's doing. I used to say, oh, it's just some digital little thing that somebody made it's an app on a phone. It could be, I don't know what it's measuring out. But then once I understood how the analog accelerometer works, I finally had someone break it down and I figured out how it works. And I'm like, oh, it's the weight that's, okay. All right, I can't really argue with that. That's how it's working. That's what it's showing. Our weight is the result of that contact force, the normal force. If you're in an elevator and you're being pushed up a lot faster than we are right now, you're being jammed up super fast, you're going to weigh more. The scale's going to register more because you're being pushed against that scale harder. So you can take by that and just assume, well, weight is the result of whatever kind of force we're having push against us. Obviously, if it can be changed, I mean, it's. It does have to do with the medium you're in too. I mean, it's not entirely like just one answer, but still, there is one answer when it comes to like force. I mean, like, what's the force? You want to say there's something pulling you down like a magnet? Mm, we're not made of metal. Mass attracts mass. Well, that's a cheap shot. I mean, it's like, well, it's like, oh, because I fall down, you drop the microphone. There, I proved it. That's weak. That's just so weak. Mass attracts mass. Well, it's like, okay, great, you invented an idea that can't be falsified. We call that pseudoscience. I mean, it's that easy to debunk. It's like, I'm sorry, you can't use pseudoscience in a debate about science. Sorry, you're going to take the gravity somewhere else. That's not going to work here. If it can't be falsified, then you can't use it in a scientific debate. I mean, but yet it happens every day. It's like their go to argument. It's just why the globe isn't science. They can't handle the truth. No, they can't. They want to just like make you seem like you're an idiot for mentioning the truth. But when people have just been bamboozled for so long, they embrace their bamboozle. They're like, we like our bamboozle. We've become accustomed to it. I want to go to space and be a multiplanetary species and grow potatoes in my own poo on Mars. And like Mars, I mean, there's no atmosphere there. This whole thing with making air, it just seems to be so easy for people like NASA. I finally did the research necessary to understand how they made it to the moon with like how they had 6 days of air, 6 days worth of air to spare for three guys, and they were like decompressing their vehicles from time to time, and they were doing spacewalks, and they were wasting air a lot. But the thing is, they had liquid oxygen that they brought with them, and so it's like liquid oxygen, and so they didn't have to have like some oodles, however many fucking hundreds of oxygen tanks with them. Because I mean, you go scuba diving, you have like a couple tanks of oxygen on your back. I mean, you're only able to go down for so long. I mean, like we're talking like minutes, hours and minutes. You can't go down for more than an hour or whatever. It's like you don't have that much time with a couple tanks of oxygen. They were gone for 6 fucking days, three guys. and there was no air, so they had to bring that amount of air with them, so they didn't have enough space on their ship for that many tanks of oxygen. They had to bring it in liquid form, where they then had like a way of, you know, whatever, turning it into atmosphere of gas or whatever. I forget what the process is that they had to do that with, but the thing is, they were breathing pure oxygen for 6 days straight. Now you can't go down to the oxygen bar and breathe pure oxygen for 6 days straight. You'll be dead. So, but here's the thing: they had a very low pressure oxygen. There's like really low pressure, but it was pure oxygen. So I don't quite understand if that's possible. Like, they had a really low pressure oxygen, pure oxygen mixture. It wasn't a mixture. They just said it was pure oxygen. So they just had really. The way they described it, it makes me think, well, they hardly had any air to breathe. Like, you can't breathe pure oxygen for 6 days straight. You would die. You wouldn't even make it 6 days. It would cause great damage to your. It would die. Like, I mean, just look that up. I mean, it's just the truth. But if it's at a low pressure, apparently it's a different situation. I don't know how that really makes sense, though, because you're still going to be breathing in the pure oxygen. It's going to eventually build. I mean, what is the science behind that? Do you know about that? Yeah, there's certain poo that works as good fertilizer. Guinea pig poo does. That's good to know. I don't have a guinea pig, but that's one cool thing about having chickens. You get fertilizer and eggs and cute birds to play with. I can talk to chickens and roosters. I can talk like a rooster too, but it's nighttime. I don't want to piss anybody off. But I can do a good rooster call. I used to do that when I was in jail. It's like at chow time in the morning, I'd be like, there would be a few other guys that would do that with me. They hated us for that, but it was funny. It was good. Good fun. It was so much fun in jail. Just kidding. Knock on wood. God forbid I ever have to do that again. Yes, I had a very rowdy life of crimes with no victims. I have a bad rap sheet, a long list of victimless crimes. I'm a real bad guy. I mean, how do you keep a straight face looking at somebody trying to tell them they have a fucking bad rap sheet? You have a bad rap sheet. Look at all these crimes. Look at all these victimless crimes. I mean, at some point that has to like fucking reach your mind, or like, none of these crimes have a victim except for him. He's his own victim. So it really just amounted to like highway robbery and then, kidnapping and imprisonment. That's what it really amounted to. So the only crimes that happened were were happening to him. Me that is the him. Because like when someone pulls you over and then takes your stuff and then brings you and imprisons you and then tries to tell you you're in trouble for breaking the law, it's like, really, you were just minding your own business and nobody was being affected negatively by your behavior. They could argue that you were being affected negatively, but that's your own, just it's fucking up for you to decide. So there's no logical like train of thought to follow it through. You're just like, well, you have a bad rap sheet of long list of victimless crimes. Pretty stupid, huh? Guinea pigs are cute. We have little moles. Sometimes the cats catch them. I feel bad. I like the moles we have, but there's some moles that have like the little hand on their nose. Those things are funky looking. I don't like those ones that much. But the moles we have are super cute. They look like little mice kind of, but they have that little black nose. They're cute. And I like the bunnies we have. The bunnies we have in this area, they're upright. They're like everybody's pet rabbit. They're like the long ones that are kind of like, they're kind of floppy. Like the rabbits we have, the wild bunnies we have are like, they're upright. They're not like the long ones. They're like kind of more skinny. They're like the ones from the cartoons, kind of, you know. They're super cute. You'll see them like with their ears sticking up. You know, they're looking at you and then they run off. The bunnies are cute. That's the kind of pet bunny I'd want to have. The long ones are all right, or whatever. The fat one. You know what I'm talking about? The normal bunnies that people have. Those aren't the kind of bunnies we have that are wild. I like the wild bunnies. And we have wild skunks, we have wild raccoons, we have wild possums, we have wild foxes, we have wild coyotes, we have wild deers, we have wild pigs, and we have wild mountain lions. What other kind of wild animals do we have? We have lots of birds, of course. Squirrels. You didn't you see chipmunk?
Yeah, I see chipmunks.
We even have chipmunks here. We have rats and mice, snakes and lizards. I caught a turtle down at the lake one time. I caught a turtle. There's turtles. I've seen them swimming down in a big pack down there one time, too. A bunch of turtles all swimming in the lake together. We lived close to Bear Creek Road. There used to be bears in this area, but I bet you there might still be some bears. Maybe. They're super reclusive if they are. Further north you go, or further south, too. There's bears in California, that's for sure. There's plenty of bears. Need a ladder? Crunchies. Where are the raccoons anyways? They haven't been out yet. Oh, really? Raccoonies! Raccoonies, where are you? Raccoonies! You hungry raccoons? Where's my raccoons? Here, raccoony, coony, 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 coony. Here, raccoony, coony, 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 coon. Where's my raccoons? Sometimes they come when I call them, but they're not showing up. I haven't seen the skunks in a while. It's like the off season for skunks. Anyways, I'm gonna finish my dinner. Love you guys. Thanks for joining me. Always a pleasure.